All right. What is good, everybody? Hello, hello. Welcome on in. It's time. We're live once again on a Monday. Getting ready for another day in Destiny and gaming news, of course. We're still trying to do the solo flawlesses. What's good, Aircad? And we got various different news topics to cover here. What's good, Icer? Welcome on in. Welcome on in. What up, Regan? I kind of wanted to find that post where the guy was showing how he spawned in calluses. Every day there's like these new discoveries with Project Sunrise. And it's kind of an exciting time, as weird as it sounds. For like, yeah, so let's see here. Perfect. Thank you, KBG. What's good, Raygun? Sunrise is working on multiplayer or something? Yeah, I'm gonna search Sunrise on Twitter as a topic here, and we'll pull up some of the stuff that KBG has shared with us as well. But we've got Project Sunrise ability nodes and subclasses are now fully functional, working as intended. Excuse me? This is insanity. Like, how is it possible that this much of the game is functioning? Sunrise updated title screen? No shot! That's insane. They literally turned it into a literal... Oh my god. That's incredible. Dude. There's no way. Look at this. It has its own title screen. This is insane. I'm gonna quote tweet this. I'm gonna say, I'm starting to believe. Bro, they got the damn title screen hooked up here. They got subclass working. He's fighting Gaul? No way.
These are like year one.
Dude, there's enemies in here.
Let's go back before we die. Okay, anyways, we're gonna get some more.
Hold on, I'm gonna make an SCP.
Let's see, Bloodguard Bulwark.
Oh, that's the wrong button.
Let's see, Bruiser Thurn.
Dude.
Dominus Gaul.
What is that?
Okay. We're gonna get Dominus Gaul.
There's no way.
Hold on. We're gonna put Dominus Gaul right
Take a
there.
picture of you? Jesus.
Hold on, guys. We're making history here, guys. Look at my stream. We're gonna do Bloodguard Centurion. Okay. We're gonna put.
As soon as I look away, come on, man.
There.
Yo, what the fuck?
Okay, guys. Hold on. Let's get.
Serious?
Oh, fight music.
Am I show up?
Oh,
Okay, guys. Y'all ready for this?
I'll actually fly now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm recording. Okay.
On the issue, please.
All right, everybody,
He's
time to fight Gaul in Destiny 2 Sunrise. There he
Dude.
is.
Overlord.
Oh, we're gonna get fucked. Okay, we got Cabal. Oh no. We got hella
Battle of
Cabal.
the Ages. Get
Where's
him.
Gaul?
Get him.
Oh fuck.
They're running the ones. Get him. It's the Battle of the Ages.
Oh no. Don't die.
No, look at this Battle of the Ages right here.
Where's
Oh,
Gaul?
this-
I must go after Gaul.
This Minotaur's
There
getting
he is.
smoked.
Oh, he's immune.
He's immune.
I gotta get damage phase to start.
Oh my god, yeah.
I gotta get DPS phase to start. No! We're
Rip.
running back.
Dude, this is incredible. This is awesome.
Dude, this thing sucks. Like, change the, run the ones.
No! I wanna die.
What did I do? What the?
Oh, he's dead.
My game crashed! My game crashed!
Nah, Gaul wins, dude. Gaul wins. That's crazy. This guy is doing some really good stuff. Someone said, I'm ready to fight the Ender Dragon. Dude, he literally look, he has a Minecraft sword. This is crazy. He actually has a diamond Minecraft sword. Dude, modded Destiny is about to be fucking peak right now. Oh my god. What's good, the true demon? Yep, other juice. We got enemies. Yep, scream. Exactly. You have to use some weapons now. Yep. Give it 1 year and we'll have Wrath of the Machine. Maybe. I don't know, man. I feel like there's a level of complexity where things like this are very doable, but when you combine all the moving elements of something like a Wrath of the Machine, you can't help but feel like that's got to be way harder, right? That's got to be like this is doing like algebra, and Wrath of the Machine is like calculus in my mind. And I could be wrong, and I'm not trying to be cynical or negative, but I can't help but feel like that has to be so much harder, right? But this is still really cool. And if we can put a Minecraft sword in, then we could probably do a lot of other funny things, right? Pretty crazy, though, huh? This guy said, Project Sunrise so goofy.
Hydras are... Wait, the Hydras are murking them. Wait. What are they... Yo, get them. Yo, get them.
What even is that thing? What are those? What are those?
Yeah, you can spawn literally whatever.
What is that?
They look so fun. For what do they look like this?
That looks like a fucking
Holy...
distorted...
Look at this. Oh, wait, the Hydras are... Wait, the Hydras are...
Is that a
murking them.
distorted
Wait.
callus?
What are they...
What am I even looking at? Ugh, that looks crazy. Dude, these clips are insane. Oh my god. Dude, look at what people are doing. He has 1 million Cyclops here. How do I get to do this? I want to put some Cyclops in. Dude, these guys are going crazy with this stuff. Oh, good lord. What? Lore accurate, sleeper. Wow. What a time to be alive, huh? Dude, this is incredible. This is incredible. I'm gonna do an update of this stuff in a little bit. How cool though, right? You can world line skate again? No shot. World line skate? Dude, they brought it back. Wow. No way. They're back to... Dude. They brought back world line skating. Of course they would bring this back. They have their priorities. They have their priorities. Of course, dude. I just need to repost everything here. The problem is I'm going to spam my damn Twitter feed too much. Imagine cheating in a dead game. I don't think that's even cheating. I think it's just like modding now.
It's been released to the public and wish that an old version of Destiny 2, specifically the last build before the Destiny
So now you can get to the galaxy pools easily?
Go to any of the old
It doesn't even matter
any
cheating. There's no
old
enemies.
raids,
Like there's no
strikes,
people. You know?
literally anything.
It's just
And in
modding.
this video, I'm going to be showing you how to get to the galaxy poles and perhaps the easiest and fastest way in the history of Destiny 2. So first off, we're going to want to open our sunrise menu. By
Dude,
default,
I'm gonna
to get
finally
this
make it to
menu,
the galaxy
press
pools.
the enter key and make sure you have teleport enabled, and you can bind the key to whatever you want. For the distance, you can put it to whatever you want as well. Just don't put it too far, because if you do that, then you might not be able to hit the load zone for the galaxy pools. So first off, we're going to want to go to the dark forest, which is to the right of spawn. And before we actually start flying to the galaxy pools, there's one thing that is important to note, and that is to basically stay to the left of the map. I will show an image on screen of where you want to use this lake as your guide to hit the load zone. If you go too far to the right, if you go too far to the left, you won't hit this load. So just make sure you're near the lake. Also, it is important to note we don't want to spam our teleport too much here, as we might not hit the load zone. Okay, and with that, we can start our ascent. So, look towards the roof of the dark forest, and you're just going to spam your teleport. There's the first lake right there. We're going to go past that. Remember, we're going to stick to the left. And here you can see that lake I was talking about earlier. So, just keep going up to the left, and eventually you'll hit this load zone, and you'll be pulled up. As you see on the left, we hit the load zone. It just says European Dead Zone. There's no load zone name or anything like that. And it is important to not teleport at this point, because it will mess up with the load. And with that, we have
jeez.
pools. And once you get past this rock, you will be teleported into the galaxy pools. And that is it. Welcome to the fastest and the easiest way to reach galaxy pools in 2026.
That's
Thank you all
incredible.
very much for watching, and I'll leave the server link for...
Dude, we gotta launch this right now. Incredible. Since this is a local game now, does that basically mean if you know what you're doing, you can remove the death barriers and explore anywhere? I don't know what the limitations are. It seems like we can't remove the death barriers. Like there's still a set, like, sandbox, or if that's the right way to describe it. You play Subnautica? I did get Subnautica. I haven't played too much of it. Hope it doesn't have a virus. It definitely came with a Trojan virus. And, yeah. I'm joking, of course. Definitely downloaded all my private information. There's this guy out there stealing my identity named Lucky20p. Unlucky 20p. He's ruining my reputation. He's playing Marathon. It's fucked up. Gotta get this guy. We gotta stop him. Identity's not that important anyway. Yeah, you're right. Like, security, you know? Community. You know? That's what I'm saying. Social security, you know, bank account information. These things are really not that important. Like, seriously, Amy J, go ahead and put your social security in the chat. It'll be fine, you know? I'm joking, of course. For legal reasons, it was a joke. It was a joke. For legal reasons, it was a joke. All right. It is time. We're going to, I think it was the Gulch. If it was the sledge. It was the Gulch. Why would you impersonate me when you can impersonate a famous person, right? I guess so. Dude, you know what's super sad? Did you hear that Hayden Panettiere died? That's crazy. I used to watch the show Heroes back in the day. Dude, this show is old. This is lost media. Hayden Panettiere, they were like, I think they were a movie star, I guess. I don't know. I haven't really seen them in any other shows since then. Who? You guys are a bunch of uncultured swine. Unbelievable. This chat right now. Unbelievable. Must be in the sludge. Heroes is sick. You have the DVD collection. That's what I'm saying, other Jesus. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Heroes was really good at back in the day, dude. This is old. What was the menu to pull up? What was the... You have to like push a menu. You had to push a button. And then it brought up the menu. Season 1 was good, yeah. Does anyone remember the button? Pull up the menu for this thing? Also, when these updates go live in this thing, I mean, yeah, it's like when people update Project Sunrise, they're not updating like this. Like, I'm like so confused as to how this works. Like, ironically, Project Sunrise is probably going to educate a freaking Neanderthal like me in how video game development works. So this will be like a net positive on society. Push Alt F4. Think I'm that dumb? Insert? Insert? It's not... It can't be insert. Oh. It is insert. The hell? How do I close this down? He was right. I doubted him. McKinney-san, I doubted you. I apologize. I owed a debt to McKinney-san. I'm going to the Galaxy Pools. New tech unlocked. What do I gotta do again?
History of Destiny 2 might as well guide to hit the load zone if you go for too much here, as you might not hit the load zone. Okay, and with that, we can start our ascent. So, look towards the roof of the Dark Horse, and you're just gonna spam your teleport. And with that, we can start our ascent.
So he goes up to this freaking rock here.
Towards the roof of the Dark Horse, and you...
Okay, good. This is the rock here. Good. Oh. 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 Did we do it? Did we do it? No shot, we did it. First try? Kind of a big deal, not gonna lie. I'm something of an oob expert, you know? They call me the Salta Greppo of oobing. Wait. Where are you going? What? This is not the Galaxy Pools? This is not good. This is not good. Damn it. Come on. Activity, adventure, ginger bubble? What is that, Mike? What are we even typing in chat anymore? What is that? You can just spawn in there? Okay, really? You don't even have to do any of the work anymore? That's crazy, Mike. Of course. Oh my god. This is my first time ever going here. This is my first time ever going to the Galaxy Pulse. I've seen so many clips of this, but I never made it here. But Project Sunrise makes it effortless now. This is awesome. What is this supposed to be, actually? Did Bungie ever say what this was? Does this feel like it should be something associated with, like, the 9? Or what? It kind of has, like, a 9 vibe to it, to me. Like, it has, like, prophecy color here and, like, kind of like that 9 teal. I got many destinations saved, Mike. Interesting. Oh, no. Look at that. That is the skybox of all skyboxes right there. Looks like an idea that got scrapped. Yeah, why? Like, what was the idea, I wonder? What was it meant to be? Could have been a place where we were meant to bind the 9. I mean, I think the binding the 9 came pretty late, right? Like, that's like Edge of Fate. So it's not that it couldn't be tied to that, I guess, but I feel like Galaxy Pools was found so long ago. When did Destiny 2 players first discover the Galaxy Pools in the game? Let's see if we can get a date of this bad boy. It was discovered in 2022. The Galaxy Pools were not first discovered in 2022, even though that's when they suddenly became more widely known among ordinary Destiny players. The best evidence points to this timeline that it launched in the game in September 2017. Wow. So it's existed in the file since the beginning. It's launch era content. So the game launched with this. Like, this area was at the beginning. So this had to do with something else. This might have had to do with, like... Do you think this had to do with, like, Trials of the 9? Like, is this the lighthouse for Trials of the 9 or something? Like, normally when you cleared the lighthouse in Trials of Osiris, you would go... Normally when you cleared Trials... In Trials of Osiris, you would go to the lighthouse. In Trials of the 9, I'm trying to remember where you went in Destiny 1. You would go to this, like, other area and you would, like, float up, remember? Pretty interesting stuff. Alright. I'm back to my solo flawless ways. I gotta finish this challenge. We're not finishing it in Project Sunrise either. Do you want Vex offensive map I have here? Another time, Mike. I appreciate that. I'm gonna spend more time exploring that project. Maybe later today. I want to get some attempts on the solo flawlesses because I said I would solo flawless all the dungeons, and this has become the procrastination project of the century now. So I gotta lock in, all right? Or else I'm never gonna solo flawless all these damn dungeons. I'll be cooked. So we give them 1 or 2 tries here, get it done. And then we'll explore some different news stories and maybe Project Sunrise and whatever else is going on out there in the world. But I appreciate that, Mike PTG. And keep doing your thing, Mike, and I'll definitely... You and I will link up pretty soon here, and maybe you'll get to show me around all the cool things you found, if that's all right by you. Of course. I think Sunrise needs to buy D1 and D2 from Bungie and Sony. Yeah, no one has that kind of money, though. Plus, I think Sony doesn't ever sell anything. People were telling me about this. Like, Sony is like... They're the worst. Getting purchased by Sony was a mistake. A huge mistake. They don't sell anything. They'll literally... Sony, out of their own pride, would rather let Destiny sit in the graveyard of IPs for eternity rather than sell it, I think. Like, they're that level of awful and petty, I think. Back at it again with another solo flawless. What's good, my zombie inside? How you doing today? Do you know what? The guys today was fighting against Dominus Gall and a lot of ads. I saw that. I saw they were fighting him. Their game crashed, to be fair, so not the best outcome, but it is cool that they're exploring and able to do that. Sunder Doctrine. Sundered Doctrine Solo Flawless. There's only 3 dungeons left. This, Vesper's Host, and Equilibrium. And then I've completed my challenge. And I'm not looking forward to Vesper's Host. Let's just say that is going to be a tough one. But don't want to look too far ahead because I do have to knock out Sundered Doctrine. And my last attempt, I made it all the way to the boss, and I died. Which was, frankly, depressing. So now I got to start back at the beginning, back to square one. Someone said that the Lockset boss has a cheese. We are not cheesing this. Are you kidding me right now? Mods, ban that guy. Amy J. Oh my god, Amy J. I cannot believe this. Cheesing? The unforgivable sin. I'm joking, of course. I feel like for the challenge, though, I want to do it with, like, little to no cheese. Have I cheesed anything yet? I don't think I've cheesed anything yet. Good. Good. Happy to have you here, zombie. This encounter is a little on the lengthy side. I feel like the first encounter of a lot of dungeons, they kind of make them not necessarily a snooze fest, but they make them very, like, repetitive and mechanic heavy. I always like, and I know it's not always possible, but I like when there's an encounter that has, like, a way that people solve it that's, like, kind of slow. And then there's also this, like, super fast way where you could, like, skip things, or, like, not necessarily skip, but, like, you know. Like, you could just get it done faster because you're optimized, if that makes sense. But when the encounter is just, like, super slow, and no matter how fast you get, it's still slow, it's like, ah. Alright, first puzzle. Something worship worm. I don't know what worships the worm, but we're gonna find out, dude. The lens bearer, the bearer of lens. You know what this reminds me of? The lens, dude? Reminds me of lens crafters. Whatever happened to them as a business? They were big back in the day, dude. Lens crafters? They were like the goats of glasses. Guardian? Guardian does not worship the worm. Come on now. Probably Hive, if I had to guess. Hive worship the worm. Probably Hive. Fuck it. We're just gonna guess Hive, and if we're wrong, we're gonna suffer the consequences. I think that's the best way to approach most things in life in general. Anyone remember lens crafters, dude? Or am I the only old person in this chat? If you're above the age of 35, you know what I'm talking about with lens crafters. These guys had the freaking glasses game locked in. The goats of glasses. You don't hear about them too much anymore, you know? I didn't even have glasses. I've never even worn glasses in my life. And I still know about lens crafters. That's how goated they were with their advertisements. I am not running Lorelei. I am running... What am I running? I don't even remember my own build. I don't even remember what day of the week it is, so don't ask me a question. I'm running Hollow Fireheart. Traveler something something. Traveler give light. That kill? I don't think the Traveler kills anything. It's gonna be give, watch. It's gonna be give. Bro, you can't freeze me, I'm in my hammer. What are you doing? Told you. Told you it's give. Whoever decided to make the lenses bounce up and down, I have a few questions for you, Mr. Bungie Dev. Traveler give Guardian. That's actually not... Hey, that's not really a lie if you think about it. Traveler give Guardian? That's kind of... You know what I'm saying? That's kind of accurate. Where did that hammer just fallen under the map? Wait a second. Where did that hammer just go? Someone clip that. What the hell? I want to see this hammer blow up. Where'd that hammer go? That hammer just fucking fell into the abyss, dude. The hammer went to Destiny 3. I saved it, don't worry, I clipped it. I was just... I swear that hammer... Alright, give... Dude, I don't even know what... Dude... Fuck it, let's just do this. Bruh. Hey. Don't even start with me right now. Is this thing ever gonna rotate to the right spot? This thing doesn't even rotate over there? What do you mean? I'm drunk. I actually don't even know the answer to this one. Traveler give what? Traveler give head? Goddamn. All the chats are coming through, that's right. I remember the old lens crafters. Yeah, dude. Lens crafters? I don't know what the Traveler give. What be... Oh, shit. What do he be giving? Oh, shit. I'm cooked. Oh, I landed the shot. Dude. That was a desperation hammer. Thankfully it landed, but usually those don't land and then I die and then I crash. Stop with the damn stasis. I used to know all the symbols. I used to know all the solutions. It's just been so long I forgot. I remember half of them though. I just don't remember this one. Why does it have to bounce? Who thought that was necessary? That's all I want to know. I just have a question. What is it? What is the answer? Let's find out. Traveler give Guardian. It was Traveler give Guardian. Dude, that's crazy. It sounds stupid when you say that, though. It sounds like some caveman shit. Traveler, give Guardian. Fuck, I think this is Guardian over here, too. I don't know if I can connect this. Shit, I think I fucked up. Can this connect over there? Please tell me this can connect over there. No. What do you mean? Well, this is scuffed. Of course! 1,000 curses, dude. What can this? Where does this connect? Does this go through? Does that connect to there? Oh shit, let's go. Boom, and then that connects to that. Yes. Yes, rotate this fucking thing. Perfect. All right, we're back in business. Traveler, give Guardian. Guardian, give light. Light good. Me like light. This is how I needed the lore to be read to me, okay? Look, nothing against My Name is Bife. He is great. But when I gotta watch a 4-hour-long video to understand the story of the game, I fall asleep. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I've fallen asleep to the 4-hour video at least 4 or 5 times. I just fall asleep. He's like, greetings, Guardians. My name has been My Name is Bife. And I'm like, and I wake up and I'm like, what? What the fuck happened? It's a good sleep every time, though. It's a deep sleep. Beautiful. I don't know anything. What if you didn't know any of them and you just straight guessed it right? That'd not be incredible. Hive? It might be Hive kill. Hive Worship? It's probably Hive Worship Darkness, if I had to guess. Probably some Hive Worshipping, some Darkness. Little bit of Darkness Worship. I'll take that. Dude, why? Why does it have to bounce? Why? It's nonsensical, Bungie. You did not have to do this. Alright. You know what? You guys are just annoying. Place this here. Yes. Yes, this is good. Wait, that's kill? I thought it was Hive because I read Hive over there. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. This is Hive. Really? Alright, so Hive, and then I'm imagining that this is Darkness over here, right? Hive Worship Darkness, exactly. So I'm going to use this one for worship over there. I'm going to use this one for Hive, which was there. And then this one for darkness. Rotate the right way. Holy crap. Really? Oh wait, that one doesn't go there. Why does that not go there? I guess I'll use this one for Hive. How do I get to worship? I guess I have to use that one for worship. God, they make this so hard sometimes, I swear. I know it's not. I don't remember this being that hard. I remember this being so easy. But the struggle bus is running now here. The Lens Crafter. Crafter of lenses. Alright, Hive. And then I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna kill this guy, and then I'm gonna light up worship. Okay. Great hammer throw. Great, perfect hammer throw. Truly. That's the last one I do. Worship is... I'm assuming this is worship over here. Let me just double check, though, because apparently I have the memory of a damn goldfish. Yes, that is. Place and rotate again. Okay, miss a hammer. Hit the hammer. Don't actually do rotate and activate and rotate again. Okay, miss the hammer. That's good. That's good. That's what... Okay, let's go. Let's just miss another hammer, you know? Maybe I'll miss a hammer on this guy. Let's rotate. Let's place. This is good. Probably just grab this one from this guy since we're here. Loved it. What's good, Redar? How's it going? Alright, very good, very good. Hive worship. The darkness. Why do I even throw a hammer? Like, what is the decision making in my brain where I'm like, you know what? 150 yards away, yeah, I should throw my hammer right now. Like, I'm throwing my hammer like there's, you know, 8 seconds left in the fucking Super Bowl and we're 90 yards away from the fucking end zone right now, dude. Like, come on, bro. Sometimes I question my own decision making. And you're dead. And I'm gonna take this lens. And I'm gonna bank it here. Oh, don't rotate. Do not rotate. And it's over and done with. Like, there's never a time when you're supposed to throw your hammer like this far. Like, you're not supposed to look down a hallway and be like, yes. Like, you're not supposed to do that. You never do that. Like, that's just not how it works. You never see an enemy so far away and you're like, you know what? Let me just hurl this object that has 0 tracking. And basically 0 magnetism or anything at it. You just don't do that. You know, I play a dangerous game though, okay? I play a dangerous game. I don't even think I have to go this way. I think I just go this way. I don't even know where I'm going anymore. I just kind of... Yeah, there it is. Alright, trying to get icebreaker. Nice. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's drop down here. Let's go over here. Run through here. Let's go. Yes. So far, so flawless. Alright, this dude, I remember what happened now. You're not gonna believe how I died in the last one. Oh my god. I stood on this, right? Some Bungie dev is an actual evil human being, and that you can fall down there. So like, it's so dark here. Like I can't, like on my screen, like there's bright lights flashing in my eyes because I'm streaming and shit. But if it wasn't the lights, I would just walk here normally. But you can walk and fall down there and die. Like, no one ever died in their solo flawless there except for me. So at least I get some kind of world's first. These balls, though. I'm waiting. Okay. Okay. I don't think anyone ever really died there in their solo flawless, let's be real. Unless you're like Eager Edge skating through there like a maniac. Like, that's pretty chill traversal, you know? Charge the damn gun. What the hell was that? Heightened knowledge. And the solution is tower stop. Tower is 2 to the left. Get out of the way. Tower. And then stop. We're gonna go 3 to the right. Heightened knowledge is brimming knowledge. They just had to give it a fancy name, right? They couldn't just be like knowledge 1, knowledge 2. It's gotta have some crazy name associated with it. Done. Alright, last time I did this, it was complete and utter chaos. There were ogres, wizards, 400 knowledge on the ground. And I said that I would not do that again, and that I would watch a guide, probably the Rick Cactus guide. The problem is, I lied, and I didn't watch the guide. So now we're back, and we're going to do the exact same chaos strat as before. Except this time I kind of know how to maybe live. Maybe? I don't know. Let's see if we can live this time. Last time I did this, I did Arc, Solar, and Void. That kind of worked. I lived, at least. I somehow cleared. And we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do... I guess that's it. We're going to say a quick prayer to the Traveler. Lord Traveler, who art in Lord Traveler, who art in tower, bless me as I try to beat this damn encounter. Please. Good Lord. I don't even know if Anarchy's a good choice. I just know that they like buffed it and like you'd be used to use it for this, so it's kind of just we're winging it. We're very much winging it. I need 2 knowledge. Two knowledge is got. We're going straight to kill. This is how we do. We just go straight to kill and say fuck it, dude. We got the survivability build on, so like I ain't even stressed. I'll take out all these ogres. No problemo. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. I could probably just have a sniper on. I think that might be more effective here. Probably a sniper would be the play. Yeah, sniper. I could actually do some snipe damage here. I could probably snipe these ogres as well. These guys spawning behind me is kind of insane. Dude, really? This game is such a troll, dude. Oh, they banked the exact right ones in and it like rotated it as I banked it. New lost sectors available, thank you. This was the information that I needed. Getting kind of fried out here, dude. Is it too late to change to the sniper? I think not. Let's do this. Okay. I think I have the wrong... Oh no, I've got it. Oh. Oh. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. That was crazy close. We still have restoration going. That's good. Okay, we're missing every single snipe. That's bad. Ugh. Thankfully there was no ogres during that time, or else I would have been absolutely screwed. The hell? A lot of knowledge. A lot of knowledge out here. Bees! Ogres! Oh shit, we're cooked. We are so unbelievably cooked. Oh! It hurts. Is there still an ogre over here? Oh shit. Almost got taken out there. Whew. This is the most chaotic encounter when done wrong. 84 damage phases later. I think I've learned my lesson now. You just get brimming, wait for the first rotation. I guess if you can get it done faster, that's better, but I'm not sure. I'll wait for the first rotation, get brimming now. Oh, I went the wrong way. Fuck. I guess you could do it both ways, technically. Not the ogres, no. Holy shit, those bees just fucked me up. Oh my god, I almost died. Leave me alone, bees. Oh, great. Is ogres down? Too much knowledge condensed there. Too much knowledge. Ogres here. No shot, dude. That's scufferoni, dude. Almost got that done in time, but on Fortnite, we died. Or not we died, but we, time ran out. Let's see here. I need to get restoration. I have my grenades, so I got that going for me. Just make sure there's no ogres out there. Whew. That encounter is kind of crazy when you do it that way. I'm imagining there's a much more efficient way. That you're like, I mean, I know I usually like stand up there and like cheese it or something with like, we were doing like bolt charge before back in the day. I didn't really want to do a cheese spot or anything though. Wanted to like do it as intended, if that makes sense. So it was a little more stressful than the average clear, but we got it done. This fucking thing. What are you doing? What is even going on right now, bruh? This fucking thing. There we go. We got it done. Now we just gotta go to the boss and we gotta do the same thing all over again. GG's. I missed the damn turn. That's right. So far, so good. Final boss is not easy, though, and last time I was there, I was doing kind of crap damage. So I'm hoping this time I can lock in a little bit more and get some better damage off. So to get out of here, it's like the two symbols are. Let's see here. I'm trying to remember what the damn symbol. Like it's like, I guess you got to light up enter there, and then like worm there. So you got to take the enter symbol. I want to say that this one could rotate and go up there. I don't remember if that was accurate or not. So we can go those two places. I think you have to like make it go the long way or whatever, right? Like they make it a little bit more painful. Mantle this. Yeah, that's not what I want to do. And you know it. Alright. Okay, funny guy. Let's get that one. And then you gotta go over here. You gotta do this one. Where? Alright. Huge. Hey, hey, get out of here. They tried to slow me, dude. They hit me with the stasis just before I went in the door. They were actually trying to troll me. What's crack-lacking? What's good, Miata guy? We're just doing the solo flawless thing. We're back on the final boss. Okay, we're back at it again. Trying to take out this crackhead. We're gonna put on the sleeper. Alright, we're gonna have on the double solar weapon surge. We're keeping survivability on. We got this and this. We got this and this. This is good. This is good. Lord have mercy. Let's do this. Alright, we got Pyramid Kill Worm, and we got Savathun Stop Darkness. You have to light up the lie. I don't know which one's the lie. I'm gonna go in here and see if I can find the freaking truth teller. Here he is. He says the pyramid one is the lie. Oh, right, no. He says the pyramid one is the truth, right? So, the pyramid one's the truth. That's the truth, so that needs to get unlit up. So take off kill. Is that back here? Kill is back here. And then we need to light up Stop and Savathun. I hope I'm doing this right. It's gonna be really awkward if it isn't. Deactivate Worm and activate Witch Queen. Worm and Witch Queen. Okay. Alright, I think that's accurate. Now I just gotta get my buff up for my super. Which involves just doing a bunch of like melee kills. Sunfire first times 5. 7. 8. 9. 10. Reset. Extend. I kind of wish you would go away. You're kind of trolling hard. Alright, well. That's my damage. That looks like it's gonna be 5 phases. Or more. Alright, every single thing is lit up, so I need to... So I got Pyramid Stop the Witness, that's definitely a lie. So that can stay lit up. Guardian Worship the Light is true, so that one I need to turn off. So turn off Guardian, turn off Worship, and turn off the Light. Worship's right here. So far so good. Shoot this, shoot this. I need to turn off Guardian and Light. I'm not really sure where both those are. I think Light might be on this side. These things are tweaking out, dude. That thing's flying in the air. I don't think Guardian's on this side. I'm gonna go to the other side. I think Guardian's over here. I'm not sure though. Well, Guardian might be underneath. The middle. This is Witness. Gotta remember where that one's at. There's Guardian over here. Aha, there it is. check that again. In case, I don't know if Hive was one of the other ones over there. I thought his backpack was a crit. It's his head? Dude. I've been trolling this whole time. You gotta be kidding me. Dude. Hard trolling. Chat, feel free to roast me if you ever see me doing something that dumb. Be like, hey, Lucky. Guy. Pal. The crit is the head. I thought that was the backpack, I swear. I was seeing the yellow numbers, I think, because of particle deconstruction. Someone said the crit is the head, by the way. Now you tell me? I would have already been out of here if I'd known that, dude. We would have three-phased it. This entire run is a throw, and it's your fault now. I just want you to know. I want you to have the guilt of my wipe, or potential wipe, on your hands, okay? My blood is on your hands if I die in this run now. Light, or Traveler give light, that is true, so we need to turn all of those off, and then we need to turn on Pyramid. You did tell me that one time? Oh, damn. I just didn't even listen? That's crazy. I get too locked in when I'm playing, right? It's like, I gotta focus on staying alive. And, unfortunately, it costs me sometimes. It costs me the optimization of this damage. Wait, I don't want to do that. What am I doing? Rotate this thing again. Get me out of here. Alright, good. That's what I want to do. That is good. Alright, so we got Traveler give light. I need to light up the lie, which is the witness killed what? Pyramid? So I need to turn on Pyramid ship. I think it's over here. Traveler and Pyramid. Traveler and Pyramid. Yeah, Pyramid's here. I think Traveler's over here. Yeah, this is good. Come on, brother. You gotta be kidding. I was gonna say, if that didn't hit, okay, damn. Rotate. Right, so now I need to turn off the lights and then we're good to go. I don't know why, but the sound from Unwritten Empowerment kind of gives you anxiety. You're like, oh my god, my timer's running out. Am I going to die? Like, it's kind of a mismatch, I think, the sound. You're constantly thinking you're going to die. So you used to like timers running out and and dying or something, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only person that thinks this. Alright, we got everything lit up properly. Just gotta get Sunfire Furnace times 10 locked in. Hey. Hey, it burns. Oh, that's awkward. Right. I don't know if I'll be able to get it done next phase. I think it'll be like a sliver short, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those ones. But we'll try our best. Hey. I hurt. You see that knight's sword just clobbering down on my head? Alright, we got Traveler, Give, Guardian. That is accurate. That is true information. And then we've got the Light, Stop, Sabathoon. No, that is a lie. So, we have to turn off all that though. Fuck. We gotta turn off Give. And turn on Stop. Where are the guys at? Come on. They always spawn them and they're like running away and hiding or something. Rotate this bad boy. Rotate this bad boy again. Alright, we gotta turn off Traveler and Guardian. Those are both on the same side, so that's not too bad. Brother, where are you running to? Turn this off just in case. I don't think it mattered though. I don't think any of these were activated. Alright, all of that looks good. Just gotta get my buff up. Gotta get my ammo up too, I think. I think I need another ammo brick. If I can find one, that is. Way back yonder. Ooh, that was crazy. Ooh, that was crazy. Thankfully I had that nade. My god. Alright. Nice and easy. Just gotta get to the last damage phase and it's done. Kill these knights. That's objective 1 right now. That would have been disastrous. Imagine if I died there. That would be my luck, dude. Thankfully, he's so low in health, it's basically just... Oh, I have to light up all 3 of Fly Black. So Hive killed the light. That's obviously last, so light up all of those. So Hive, kill, and light. That's good. Chris, stop with the floating. This guy would stand on the exact same spot I've been trying to damage him every time. Huge. Stop. Get out of here. Let's go. GG's. We did it. Solo flawless. Thunder Doctrine. Now there's just 2 left. Woo. That was fun. All right. List off all the dungeons in Destiny 2 in chronological order. I think this is what, number 9? So there's 9, 10, 11, right? Oh, Vespers came out before this? Oh shit, Vespers was this is number 10. Dude, I gotta try Vespers now? Oh my god. Did I just skip Vespers? Does that count? I just go back and use the old footage of when I solo flossed it years ago. People are like, well, this doesn't seem very... This doesn't... Seems unusual. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, I got 9. I need 2 left. Solo the raids next? Yeah, I'm about to. I'm about to solo the raids in freaking Project Sunrise. What are the drops? We got channel-specific drops. If you click on the drop-down menu, you can see what you get for watching or subscribing to the channel. I appreciate those that do. Let me see if I missed any alerts, actually. My bad. If you did subscribe, I'm super sorry if I missed that. Holy shit. Oh, I didn't pop it up. And I did. I missed Scream Keeper and I missed Mike PTG. Sorry about that. Yeah, one of the drops is for just watching the stream and another one is for gifting a sub. Why are you playing a dead game? Oh my god. It's already started, chat. Why are you playing a dead game in the comment in the chat? That's crazy. I'm trying to finish this challenge. I'm trying to solo. Yeah, ban him for them for sure. All right, we got to at least give a try to Vespers. Even if it's not a very good try, we got to give it a light try, you know? I remember the boss room just being insanity, though. This is a very half-hearted attempt right here. I only have Vespers and Equilibrium. Equilibrium, I think I could probably do, not necessarily first try, but like, you know. I'll probably get that one done. So truly, it's just a Vespers game left, and yeah. God, this one's hard. Ugh. This one is evil. All right, so this was my very first attempt. It's going to be, like I said, I'm probably just going to die and like go through the mechanics more than anything. Look, are you going to be like that one Concord player still logging in on Steam when it's truly over? I'm going to try to beat this challenge. Also, I don't really have any other games that I want to play a ton right now, other than, I guess, Power World. I don't really want to play too much Marathon. I like Warframe, but I don't necessarily want to grind, like, be behind so far. Because, like, I like Warframe, but do I really want to, you know, go through all that grind over again? Maybe, maybe not. All right, I'll be right back, chat. Let me go to the bathroom, and then we're cooking up more Solo Flawlesses. We just got Sundered done. Grabby. All right. All right, chat. Back at it again with another solo flawless. Before I jump into this next one, though, I'm going to check out what news there is going on out there in the gaming world. Out there in the Destiny world, we got obviously a lot of Project Sunrise stuff. It's just pretty exciting. They got an emote wheel working in this thing? Damn. All right. Bungie has been suspiciously quiet ever since Project Sunrise came out. They haven't said anything on the topic. Can you imagine if they tried to shut it down? Can you imagine the uproar from the Destiny fans right now? This would be catastrophic. I don't think there would be anything like that, but you could imagine them being just cringe enough to potentially try to pull some move like that. Paul Tassi is revisiting his It's Over for Marathon. All right. Project Sunrise should get done. People on the internet have rebuilt much larger things than D2. Really? What's the most ambitious project? What do you even categorically call Project Sunrise? What is this called even? Like, I feel like it's an anomaly in some ways, right? Because it's technically sunset content in a game. Like, that's pretty rare, right? Like, Bungie did that to Destiny, but most live service games don't do that, right? All right. Activision did shut down Nostralis WoW servers. Yeah, they shut down some of those WoW servers recently, I remember. Some testing, then speed runs. Destiny 2, Dev slams Bungie and content calendar. It was 11 years ago that Zur sold Galahorn for the second time, chat. 11 years ago. Can you believe that? The second time. All right. It's time, chat. Hey, Lucky, can I try the solar build you're using? I would really like to try it. Absolutely not. I do not give my permission to anyone to use or steal my build. It is my build and my build alone. I own the intellectual property in regards to the build. No one else is allowed to use it. No one else is allowed to equip the exotic or even attempt to use it. So, sorry, but you're going to be stuck with something else. You're going to have to use Prismatic Titan or something. Right? Everyone is... No one's allowed to use my build. Right? I think this is the only rational and reasonable response. I'll bring an update video of what the build is. I'm kind of experimenting with it while doing the live, while doing the solo flosses. So I'll have a updated, perfected video of it pretty soon. Things are getting weird for the Destiny community. Everyone's going through their own 5 stages of grief, and I I don't even know what to expect from this video. But let's go ahead and see what's going on here today.
Is it me? Or because Destiny is shutting down, hackers are starting to overrun the Crucible again? Knowing that Bungie is not monitoring the system anymore? It's horseshit. It has gotten bad. The cheating has gotten so bad lately.
First thing I have to say is, where is your shirt, sir? Where is your shirt? Are you butt-ass naked recording this video right now? I don't even want to know what's going on here. I don't know the context of why this man is loading into Crucible right now. The game is 2 months dead. And we're loading in Crucible now? There's going to be lots of cheaters, sure. Was he sweating so much that he literally stripped down naked? He doesn't like the friction of the clothes. It kind of restricts him too much, you know? And yeah, the cheater problem, it's going to get worse. It's bad now. It's going to get much worse in the future, of course, because Bungie's security team has been laid off. This is a crazy video, though. This is his gaming attire. Hey, can't a guy catch, can't a guy, just play a little Destiny 2 butt-ass naked and record videos about it? Like, God, why is everyone so judgmental, right? Like, for all you guys know, right now, I'm not wearing any pants. I could be straight raw dogging it on this gaming chair right now. You have no clue. To be perfectly clear, and for the terms of service for any platforms this is uploaded to, I am wearing pants. Namely khaki shorts. But I could be, you know what I'm saying? I could be naked. You don't even know. This entire thing could just be a whole filter. Shame is optional on the internet, says Sadler. Bungie is going to disable the Crucible just like armor sets. Yeah. Only a Titan main? You think he's a Titan main? You think he's a Titan main? I got to get in a Crucible game with this guy. Me and Penny Hoff Gaming. Penny Hoff Gaming. Hit me up, dude. We're going to rock in the Iron Banner, dude. Just you and me, two guys in the Iron Banner, butt-ass naked, listening to Saladin scream in our ear. Fuck yeah, dude. This is gonna be some peak content. Honestly, now that I think about it, what I'm in the security of my own home. Why am I wearing my shirt? Why am I not naked? I should be comfortable, you know? Everyone else, they have to wake up in the morning, put on a suit and tie or a uniform for their job, you know? But I'm working from home. I could just be butt-ass naked. No one would know. Think about all the streamers and content creators in Destiny that don't use face cams that might have been playing naked the whole time. Like, imagine if you didn't know it, but Esoteric was solo flawlessing all those activities wearing his birthday suit the whole time. You didn't know it. Does that make you feel uncomfortable? Does that change the way you feel about watching those videos? Does that enhance the content? This guy screams Warlock main to me. I think this is a hunter right here. We don't take him. This guy is not on our team. This is a hunter right here. He's playing Crucible too. This guy is definitely hunter. This guy's a hunter with stompies, and he uses super black. I'm watching this stream butt ass naked. Damn. Holy. I remember that one time that Azdacross stood up and was in tidy whities. Was he really? That's insane. If true. Sounds like something that was made up though. I feel like I would have seen that clip. I watch all the Destiny clips and I had missed that one. I'm sure that one of the other streamers I follow has streamed in his undies. It wouldn't surprise me. His AC was out? Really? In Florida, if your AC does go out, it's absolutely brutal. That's happened to me a few times, and you don't want that. You do not want your AC to go out. It's declared a state of emergency, and they fix it pretty fast, usually, not always. This is TikTok, so he's definitely Hunter Man, yeah. Now, let's put this video over here. It was exactly 11 years ago that Xur sold the Gjallarhorn exotic rocket launcher for the second time ever. If you don't remember, this was like a holiday. This was a celebration unlike that which we had ever seen. Zur originally sold the Galhorn on the second week he ever arrived in Destiny, but at the time, people weren't really aware of the meta, what was powerful or not. I mean, there just wasn't enough time to test all these things out, let alone unlock all of them, right? It took a long time for us to catch up with what was possible in Destiny. And we quickly found out, though, from doing the Vault of Glass, that the Galhorn was ridiculously strong. So that became the most sought after weapon in Destiny. But the only problem was that the only way to unlock it was through complete RNG. You could get it from completing activities. You could get it. Sometimes people would get it to drop from doing a damn Crucible match, which was absurd, right? But even that was a really small chance that an exotic would drop, and then an even smaller chance that it would be the exact one you wanted. So, with these limited number of opportunities to get the Galhorn, it created a frenzy, a phenomenon like that which we have never seen. I would love to see what the population charts were on this day, because I can only imagine that people were losing their minds. We wanted the Galhorn. And I wanted the Galhorn so bad, I'm not joking when I say this, I would, every Tuesday at reset, load in and I would do all the activities that gave a guaranteed chance of an exotic. And if I didn't get Galhorn, then I created a second account and tried to get it there. Actually, before I got to that point, I remember now, I was deleting characters and starting new characters and then trying to get the Galhorn on those characters. I had done that so many times. I think I had deleted like 5 or 6 characters in my pursuits to get the Galhorn on my original account that I then got so desperate that I just started a new account. I was like, you know what? I think this account is actually cursed. I remember just being so mad and so frustrated every time I didn't get it. Like, it was driving me insane. So I created a second account. And this was before we ever even streamed this game. Created a second account to try and get the Galhorn, and I did not get it on that account. After creating the second account, the very next week I got it on my main account. So then I just left that second account alone, haven't used it ever since, but that was crazy. God, it was quite the journey to get the Galhorn. I got it. I got my first one from Crota's End when you load in. I think Crota's End when it was hard mode, if I remember correctly. You would load in, and if you ran off to the left, you could open up those random doors that would open, and then the chest would spawn in there. You know, it would change its location every time. I would go there, chest would spawn in, I grabbed it, and you could try it once on all 3 characters. And I remember on like maybe my second character that week, the Galhorn dropped. And I remember I was just completely speechless. I was like, what? I didn't say anything. I was so floored that it actually happened. I had thought the game was rigged against me. I was like, there's something wrong with my game. I was so furious every time I wasn't getting it, dude. And now, and later on, Zur sold it again, right? Because Bungie had to finally cave because it was just the RNG was too crazy. And everyone got online and got this bad boy. This was a celebratory day. Were you there? How did you get your Galhorn in Destiny 1? Comment that down below. I still recall finally getting enough strange coins to buy the G-Horn. That first time he had it, when he returned, he was already gone because we said, dang, really? Yeah, I think getting the strange coins was like from doing the Nightfalls, and you had to like, they were really hard at first because you were like under-leveled. So if I remember correctly, it wasn't like something that you could just like casually do. Random drop from Crota after many times, but Crash got it the same way 2 weeks after she started playing. I'm telling you, Crota brought a lot of Galhorns to people, I think. There was a good amount of exotic chances in there. Sorry you can't watch on Twitch anymore. Those ads are bad. Yeah, well, that's okay. Last part is you can go watch on YouTube if you really don't want. Back when two-man Crota was a breeze, yeah. All right. Let's see what we're cooking up here. Destiny 2 dev slams Bungie and content calendar. Weekly updates, sunrise progress, news, August 18th. All right, let's see what we're cooking up here.
What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with another Destiny 2 video. And so we're coming up on the weekly reset. We'll highlight a few of the activities that we'll have featured this week, as well as relevant updates, and then we're also going to add some minor news updates into these videos, given that we're coming out of that kind of launch window for Monument of Triumph. Ultimately, I think we'll limit all of the weekly updates to the Tuesday reset, but for the next little while, we'll keep the updates with some additional news. So more updates for Project Sunrise as they get more and more of the game actually working in that build. It seems possible we could ultimately arrive at a very playable vanilla or pre-Beyond Light build. On top of that, former game director has further updates and criticisms of Bungie's management as it relates to the development of Destiny 2. So it's interesting to talk about. Otherwise, we'll cover the kind of content calendar for the next couple of weeks, including the return of Iron Banner and activities coming up with the reset. So if you guys enjoy the video, a rating would very much help us out on the channel. But without further delay, let's get into it. And so some update things initially. Yes, I am continuing the weekly Twid watch. As Bungie say, there will be some kind
of... This is so funny to me. Not Houndish watching for it, but I've been waiting for this final Twid for like 2 months now. Let's go look at the site. The fabled final Twid. The last one we got was June 18th, 2026. It is August 17th. It has been 2 months since the last Twid we got. And every week we've been waiting for this final Twid. Eventually we just lost patience. We're like, nah, they're not doing it. I now have a theory, and hear me out. I think that Bungie is cooking up a final TWAB. And it's going to be this week at Bungie, the final week at Bungie. And I think it's going to be the close of Destiny 2 and Marathon at this rate. Like, they're just going to get it all done in one, you know. Thanks for a good time, guys. And we're going to bow out, and that's a wrap. Time to shut the lights off in the studio. And everyone's unemployed. I don't know what's going on, but we have so much silence right now. It's crazy. We were talking about this earlier, but DMG, who normally tweets like once a day to up to 10 times a day, he hasn't posted anything in 8 days. 8 days. And this guy usually, like, look at this. Usually he posts like every day, a couple times a day at least. Nothing. Radio silence. Things are getting weird. Things are getting weird. That's all I'm saying.
A final blog post, so we'll see what we get this week. Otherwise, Chris Barrett has been speaking a bit about Destiny 2 development. He was previously a high-level game director at Bungie, and he made some comments last week which we covered, but in the last couple of days has added, I remember the person in charge of Destiny 2 telling me that creating flavor of the month enemies every expansion that you needed to defeat was slop, and we should create meaningful human stories like the MCU. But I was like, this is a shooty video game. I think creating cool giant evil bosses every season filled with new loot is exactly what players want. He also said, I tried my best with Destiny, but in the end it was all political and individuals cared more about than the players. And as it relates to the conversation about having new enemies to shoot versus the storytelling component, someone said, is it wrong to want a mix of both, or does the synergy get very complicated then? And Chris Barrett said, only one matters if the first exists, so it isn't an argument that there shouldn't be seasonal storytelling, but is essentially arguing that they didn't do enough to create that gameplay variety season over season, and that's essentially a more important part of the backbone than trying to tell a story that evolves without the gameplay evolving at the same level, right? So I think that's
I think it's just important to know your audience more than anything, and to create a product that has the most potential for consumer purchases, right? And this might seem a little bit like soulless, you know, corporate jargon, I suppose, but the idea is obviously, you know, Destiny 2 needs to be profitable, And yeah, it is a shooty game, and you want the game to feel really appealing to just your average Andy that downloads Destiny 2 because it's a quote free to play game and gives it a try. You know, they want to feel like there's a good amount of diversity in the enemies you face, and yeah, good storytelling as well, but that definitely takes a backseat, I think, in the first person shooter genre. And Destiny has told some really good stories. They've also told some pretty bland stories as well. So it's hard to say how meaningful that is. You know, we have content creators like Bife and, you know, Mylan, who used to have a lot of lore videos, but they deleted them recently. And Evase, right? These guys who really like the lore, they like the story. And I think a lot of the Destiny audience enjoys that element of it. But ultimately, I don't know that if Bungie dropped, you know, a bunch of lore books in the game that like you notice a meaningful spike in population, if that makes sense. Like I think that the lore complements the new enemies and new environments and new areas that needs to be highly prioritized so much more than the story. And I know some people might disagree, but I think by and large you sell more Destiny if you do it that way, if you prioritize that. And obviously you can have both, right? And that's what he's saying, but the priorities need to be straight first. And I wish that we had gotten more new enemy types. We should have gotten way more new enemies, especially after all these years.
Fair argument. He also said during this conversation he has never played Marathon, despite the fact that he was, of course, the original game director and kind of had the original vision for the game, which was quite different.
To be fair, I thought it was crazy initially that he had never played Marathon, considering he was the original game director. That being said, the fact that he was effectively entrenched in this crazy lawsuit and that he had this game ripped from his hands by Bungie because of this, you know, these SA allegations, right? It kind of leads you to understand why he might not be interested in playing, especially if the game didn't really fulfill the vision or his original vision that he had seen for it. I could see him maybe not being as interested in playing it, but pretty crazy to hear that though, right? Like you would kind of think that considering he was the one who created the conception of Marathon, that he would at least be interested in trying it once perhaps, but I guess not.
What we ultimately got. But as relates to Destiny 2, he did say the most important thing, especially in the context of the game, is new things to shoot and new loot to collect. So he isn't against meaningful stories, but you also need the talent to pull that off, who also understands the critical goals. And it's clear there was a tug of war in terms of what the direction should be for Destiny. And I know Chris Barrett can be divisive for a whole number of reasons, but based on what we know, I think Chris Barrett was generally a good thing for Destiny, and the franchise owes quite a lot to him on a creative level. So it's interesting discussion, and share your thoughts below.
I agree. I think that Christopher Barrett, regardless of all the controversies, like put that all aside, you know, his input into Halo and into Destiny and Destiny 2 seemed to be pretty good. You know, a lot of these guys, they do a lot of good stuff, but they also miss. It's not that they have a perfect vision and that everything they do lands. You know, you see this even with some of the most prolific games. Like there will be times and things and decisions made that weren't as interesting as other decisions. But by and large, I think that Christopher Barrett's decisions and vision for the game in terms of a creative approach seemed pretty good. Now we're on to this. This is crazy. Callus, I've been watching this. People are spawning in Calluses all over the place.
Another quick news mention here, but looking at Project Sunrise, of course it only dropped last week, and it began as a very basic exploration tool where you could basically just go and see the maps from Vanilla D2. But as we can see, they've added a whole bunch of further updates to it, including inventory, so players are now equipping weapons, further developing the ability to adjust subclasses, and sometimes doing crazy stuff like this, running modified weapons, which is pretty bonkers. Importantly though, it means players are quickly unpacking all of this stuff, and who knows, we may get to a point where we have a far more playable version of this particular build. Regardless, there are some updates to Project Sunrise, which you can now download. So as always, check those out via the Discord or the GitHub page. I'm very curious to see how much progress they make in the next week or so.
Nice.
In terms of content...
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing how far the project gets. It feels like we're making incredible strides in such a short period of time that it gives you this maybe illusion that it's going to be great. I don't know how far it's going to go. I mean, you know, Callus is spawning in and he's using his death beam on us. Like, it seems like the sky is the limit. And if the Destiny 2 fans are dedicated enough, maybe they could pull it off. How crazy is that? Imagine a Destiny community-led Destiny 3 or something, or a really small project. I feel like the community is just passionate enough that something like that could happen. Like if Bungie can't do it, if Sony's not going to do it, then we'll do it ourselves. I like that.
And stuff coming up though. With this week's reset, Trials of Osiris will once again return on Friday, and that's worth a mention because next week we'll see the return of Iron Banner, so another full week until we get that, but it's coming up pretty soon. Separately, alongside weekly reset of course, the seasonal hub will refresh, so that means a new GM Vanguard alert, which should be Exodus Crash this time. And otherwise in the season hub you can farm out weekly Bright Dust, we got the weekly reward track, the challenges, and Vanguard orders, which are a good source for that currency if you're still looking to be able to pick things up from Eververse, which of course has become quite expensive since most things are now featured for Bright Dust. So we can progress with that as we need to. Otherwise, for featured raids this week we should see King's Fall as well as Garden of Salvation. So if you're looking to farm tier 5 on the armor or weapons from those, this is the best week to do it as you don't require any challenges. And given that more people are playing them, it's also a good opportunity to go after the exotics, including the quest parts, because LFG will be more populated with people actually running them. For dungeons, we've got Duality and Shattered Throne coming up this week. And the same applies again, so you can do a bit of activity planning if you want to run any of those. And then, given that some folks are still running Lost Sectors for World Armor, you can see all of the ones that are going to be featured in the next few days. So this is Tuesday through Thursday. You can of course solo them or run them with a team, which makes the Master Lost Sectors of course very easy. Then over the course of the weekend, these ones will be featured as we run towards the next week. The final mention ahead of weekly reset for those who are still working on Cursebreaker or any other objectives, the Ascendant challenge this week should be the Forfeit Shrine, which you can find via the Garden of Isilla. So they're all relatively easy to get to, but if you want to see the location of that one ahead of the weekly reset, I will run that clip at the end of the video. So that's what we got, guys. If you enjoyed this one, a rating would very much help me out on the channel. If we do get further updates from Bungie, I'll be the first to keep you posted as always. Otherwise for me, all eyes turn to Gamescom next week, as there'll be loads of video game reveals in general. We've got the big GTA reveal, which I'm kind of curious to see. Outside of that though, some new info about Division hopefully, where if we're lucky, we'll get a teaser for the upcoming DLC, which should be dropping towards the end of the year. And if we're even luckier, they might even mention Division 3 in some capacity, although it might be a bit early for that. Regardless, there's bound to be a bunch of info next week with Gamescom across a whole bunch of franchises, so I'll be keeping an eye on that. Let us know if you'll be jumping into D2 this week. A rating below would also very much help us out, and hit subscribe if you want to be kept up to date with everything related to the game. Otherwise though, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys very soon.
All right, there it is. That is a breakdown from Houndish in regards to a lot of the recent conversations that are going on. Project Sunrise is making some incredible strides. Not only just what he covered, but there's even more. I just saw an emote wheel is being accessed. People are able to open their inventory and swap weapons. People are able to open their subclass and functionally change their subclass. Like, obviously, it's the old stuff. Like, it's not like the Void 2.0. Was it 2.0 or 3.0 that we got in the Witch Queen? So this is like the older aspects or whatever those were called, different subclass changes. So we're seeing a lot of progress with this, and the momentum feels really strong. And I don't know. I feel like a lot of the stuff we do get is very simple, or maybe like the easier stuff to handle, but something like raid mechanics might not be as manageable. I don't know. I don't want to be too cynical either. Like, I hope that there is an effort put forward to unlocking raid mechanics, because it would be interesting if we could go into Leviathan and actually like do the whole raid. Could you imagine? How would that even work? Can you imagine if we could bring back Wrath of the Machine somehow? What if we could make our own raids? You know? Imagine if Destiny is this crazy project that exists beyond Bungie, and that the Destiny community perpetually keeps making new things and building new things, and this project just lives on like for many, many years to come, and has zero input from Bungie or Sony. Could you imagine a world like that? That's so crazy. I don't think anything has ever happened like that. Maybe not. But what it does tap into, in my opinion, is these sandbox games that people are obsessed with, like the Robloxes out there, the Minecrafts. These are, basically sandbox style games where the fun and the joy of the game is built on your creativity. The developer gives you the tools to create the worlds you want to be in. And when you look at the population numbers of various different games, the Robloxes and Minecrafts are just on another level. Like, they make Destinies look pathetic in terms of population. They make marathons look ridiculous, right? These sandbox games are just absolutely crushing it in a way that's like, basically they're just the definition of games at this point. Like, it's basically like sandbox games, and then like everything else is like an indie project in comparison, is what it seems like. In terms of when you look at the numbers, it's insane. Like, here, I'll pull this up for you. How many people played Roblox last month compared to how many people played Destiny 2? Cumulative. So Destiny 2 had about 2 million people in the last month, which is pretty good. Roblox had 150 million. Think about that. 75x last month. And obviously Destiny 2, it's been, it's got its end of service, so it's hard to compare. But even Destiny 2 in its best month in Destiny 2's launch, it's just literal peanuts compared to what these games do. So the idea I'm getting at is that the more we could have sandbox tools to make our own stuff in Destiny, this is like wildfire in terms of what people want in games. Like, you saw those guys spawning in Calluses. This is every gamer's dream right here, to load into a raid and create like your own custom raid or custom experience in Destiny. You've never been able to do anything like this before. And so ironically, in Destiny 2's death, we're finally being able to tap into something that people have always wanted. People wanted to make or experience custom made Crucible maps, but we never had that option. But now, since the game is dead and presumably no Destiny 3 is being made, we're finally being given the tools to do what we want. Now, will Bungie respond and DMCA this? We don't know. I can't help but get this weird, ominous feeling that because DMG hasn't said anything about Project Sunrise, and he hasn't tweeted in 8 days since this entire project went viral, I'm a little worried that he has to be the bearer of bad news, and I imagine he's not very happy about it. Like, he's probably cooking up an article where they're going to say we have to shut this down or something, and people are going to be mad. I don't know that he's going to do that. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that, it is Bungie's IP and they could try to shut it down, even if it is technically sunset content and they shouldn't do it, right? It's content we paid for. I could see a world where Sony is that cringe and that lame. They're doing everything they can to burn their reputation, but hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully Project Sunrise can continue, and I want to see how far we can take it. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below. Do you think Bungie is going to shut it down? All right. Good. What's good, Zombie Wolfie? Yeah, those numbers blow your mind. All right. Appreciate everyone watching. We got some spicy news to cover here. More marathon news. I can only imagine what the population's looking like. Dear God, I haven't even checked it today. Oh, good Lord. I don't even want to see. Dude, 1,200 people last night. We're almost down to triple digits, boys. We're almost down to triple digits. It ain't looking good. Good Lord. What's good, Back Daddy? All right, it's time. This is the article that killed Marathon. Or at least that's what people say about Paul Tassi and this lengthy article that he wrote about a year ago in regards to Marathon and all of its shortcomings with the lawsuit with stolen art and with the poor reception of the alpha. And a lot of people use this against him, especially when he tries to, give different criticisms of Marathon. But I will say that when this was written, I actually largely agreed with it. So now that he's going back and revisiting it, I think it's only appropriate that we go back and see what we're cooking up today and to give a diagnosis if Paul was right about Marathon a year ago.
All right, I am back with a Marathon video of sorts. Last year, a little more than a year ago, I wrote an article called "It's Just Over for Marathon." I think this ended up being my most read piece about Marathon, which I guess is not super surprising since people love negativity, and this is a very negative article. People still bring this up from time to time, sometimes to rub it in my face when Marathon does something good. That has certainly happened before.
When has that happened? Ever? What do you mean?
Other times just to remind me how negative I am and how much I've wanted the game to fail forever and blah, blah, blah. I just thought after all this time, maybe it was time to go back and kind of revisit it and see what I was right about, see what I was wrong about. Obviously, Marathon is still online. I did not predict it would be offline at this point. But yeah, certainly some criticisms here. For context, this is right after the summer of death, I guess, where Marathon had a pretty lackluster gameplay preview reveal, and then it had a pretty lackluster public-facing alpha. It was not a public alpha, but you could stream it and talk about it, which also debuted right during Arc Raiders beta, and that overlapped, which was obviously a problem.
Sadler says, everyone was right about Marathon a year ago. I agree with that. And Brother Darkness says, D2 Andes are literally obsessed with Marathon. Listen, whether we're Destiny 2 Andes or not, I think that the discourse of this video game is interesting. Whether you played Destiny or whether you didn't play Destiny, it's fascinating to see the future of game development, especially in regards to the live service sector. Marathon obviously was meant to be a smash hit from Bungie, right? The same studio that delivered Destiny and Halo, right? It was meant to be, the stars were supposed to align and this was supposed to be something incredible. The fact that it isn't that, in fact, not only is it not that, but it's not even mediocre to the point where you can be okay, Marathon is doing all right. The game will have a future. Marathon is instead doing so catastrophically bad that it's just a complete dumpster fire. And that's why people are obsessed with it, I guess. That's why people are interested in seeing where it goes, because it's going to be a story of one or two things, right? The one is the most likely outcome, which is it's a game that's going to die very soon because it's doing so bad. And then the second outcome is that it's a game that's doing terrible, that has to pull off the most incredible comeback in game history, right? It's one or the other. Either scenario, either narrative is fascinating, no matter which way you look at it. It's kind of I think about it like this. Imagine if Elon Musk, who's ridiculously rich, who's was a trillionaire at one point, right? Imagine he launched a new company all of a sudden and spent, $1 billion on it or something, and the company was just a massive failure. Regardless of what the company is, the category, people would be interested. They'd be like, what? You just burned $1 billion or 10 billion or some absurd number, right? I guess 10 billion isn't even much for him, but imagine if it was a lot, right? And obviously, this was the maximum budget that Bungie could get away with. And the fact that it's doing this poorly, that the performance is this bad, is fascinating. No, regardless of who you are. Even if you don't play video games, it's fascinating.
And then topped off by the infamous plagiarism scandal, which was a stain that the game did not need, certainly. And, then this was ahead of, I think I got to double check on this, but I think it says in the article, I don't think this was, or I think this was before the delay announcement to the following year. I think I might cover that in here. So yeah, I just want to read this, and we can go through what was right, what did not really pan out and stuff. I don't know. I just thought it would be interesting. I'm going to read it in the CMS of Forbes because there's no ads and things everywhere. All right. So I've tried to put this off for a while now, giving Marathon the benefit of the doubt in terms of fixing what ails it and maybe snagging an audience that's large enough to make it at least sustainable. But no, it's over. I can't dispute this anymore. This has probably always been true, but the events of the past week have cemented it. I will get into the live stream and plagiarism and all that later. Oh, I forgot about the live stream, the deeply depressing live stream, and all that later. But this is a long, long list of what's gone wrong in the past, what's currently going wrong, and a future that does not look any brighter. We, of course, are currently living in that future, which I would argue is not terribly bright. So, the concept. The entire idea of this game was a mistake. Bungie has said that this came from a bunch of them playing Tarkov a while ago, and I heard that among that group, it was one good old boy in leadership who pushed to make this Bungie's biggest non-Destiny project. It was meant.
Who is this good old boy? We talking about Jason Jones? Was it Christopher Barrett? Who's the guy that pushed for this initially?
To be the rebirth of strong IP for the studio now under Sony, which assumed it would produce another hit like Destiny. The game attempts to split the difference between casual players who may be new to extraction shooters and existing hardcore players it would like to pilfer from games like Tarkov. It will do neither.
Oh, no.
Okay, so this part, I would say it did cater to hardcore players, or that is the main audience that it attracts. I do not think that it has pilfered gamers from Tarkov in any significant quantity, but so this was like when it seemed really pulled in two directions. And then
the part of the issue with critiquing an older article maybe a year later is that in the context of its time, it was accurate. But now we've had more iterations and changes. Like at this stage in time, Bungie wasn't even talking about a PvE mode. In fact, Joe Ziegler had infamously now said that Marathon is not going to be a game for everyone, and that they weren't going to explore PvE in the game, that it was meant to be an extraction shooter. Fast forward to today, and we have literal PvE modes implemented into the game. So I think that when you go back and critique it, there will be, of course, differences. And, Bungie has really rubber banded, and I don't know how to describe it. Their vision has never been super concrete. They're willing to change, I think, to try to be successful. But the problem with that in some ways is that you end up basically not really having a backbone for the game to rely on. And really what both of those things come down to is like, if you're willing to change, I think that's good as a game in small quantities. Like you want to be able to change and adjust your game. You don't necessarily want to change the entire identity of the game, right? Like Destiny was a really good looter shooter game. Imagine if Destiny 2 year one's launch was so bad as it was, and Bungie's genius idea was, let's just turn this whole thing into a battle royale, and let's forego looter shooter, let's forget everything that happened in Destiny 1, let's just make this game a battle royale game and nothing else. Like that would have been an absolutely terrible decision. I think most of us can agree. Maybe it would have worked out. I mean, maybe it could have been a successful BR, who knows? But in my opinion, I think that would have been bad, because all of that audience that you built up from Destiny 1 and even the ones that you kind of lost in Destiny 2 probably would be uninterested in a BR, right? There's plenty of other BRs you could have jumped into. There's no Destiny BR, but there's plenty of others. So these identity issues that Marathon has and that Bungie has are a problem. Really, the biggest issue, though, comes down to not their ability to change or their ability to stick to their game plan, but more so solving a problem. And that's what I think that Marathon's biggest issue is, that it doesn't really solve a problem. Like there wasn't really this like crazy demand for this style of game. And so you create a product. Like right now, I can create a product, right? It's a toothbrush on one end, and on the other end, it's a comb. So you can brush your hair. You brush your hair, and then you can brush your teeth. We'll call it the double brush, right? Like I can invent a product, but just because I invent it doesn't make it good or successful. Like how many people are going to buy my brush, my hairbrush toothbrush combo? Like no one. Maybe a couple of you, but most of you are not going to buy it, right? Because it doesn't really solve a problem. There was no stage at time where you were brushing your hair and you're like, man, I really just need to brush my teeth right now. Or you could just easily swap between the two items. Like it's just silly, right? And that's kind of the issue with marathons. Like it doesn't really solve a problem in the shooter space. It's not really a game that's solving something that people were in high demand for. And for those reasons, the game just doesn't have that mass appeal that it needs to sustain Bungie's crazy budgets.
And shortly after launch, they sort of made a move, or like during launch, they made a move where it seemed like they would cater more toward hardcore. They would lean more into the hardcore elements and try and differentiate themselves separate from something like Arc Raiders, which was certainly more casual. But that did not actually stay the case. I'll keep reading this for a second. You are never going to make an extraction shooter that is casual enough because the concept of being able to lose your loot, potentially your entire vault, if you go on bad runs is exhausting as you try to give the game and genre a chance. In addition to that, players will be losing all that gear and all the upgrades they've gotten in a season no matter what. This may be how the genre functions, but it's not going to be attractive to many players that have not already played this genre. It's probably
Someone said Bungie missed the craziest opportunity by exploring the extraction shooters genre using Hawthorne and the humans of the tower to do extraction in the last city in Destiny itself. That would be cool. I had actually talked about this many years ago when Tarkov was really building momentum. We did a few videos talking about this where the timing, to give you the context, was Grandmasters had come out in Destiny 2 and they were absolutely brutal, really hardcore, and it was fun playing them. With each season and with each iteration, Bungie sort of watered them down. They kind of like removed some of the more hardcore elements to them. They just made them more forgiving. And in tandem, there was power creep with, increasingly more powerful builds and exotics and weapons and stuff. And so notice how like GMs, when you first did them, were like ball bustingly difficult. But then like a year later, they were kind of laughable. And then 2 years later, they were just a complete joke, right? Like it was very easy to clear these GMs. I think it would have been cool to keep both of those things. And we talked about this, like create a game mode where you could have extraction elements. And it's something completely optional, just as Gambit exists. Like Gambit exists in Destiny 2, and it doesn't hurt me that I don't play it, right? Like I just don't play Gambit. I don't go in there. There were many seasons that I prided myself that I didn't even launch one Gambit match, because I just didn't like Gambit. And some of you out there watching are like, I really liked Gambit. That was great. But you're also like, I didn't play any of the raids. And that's fine too. Destiny is meant to be an IP that can have all these different experiences that you can have. And you don't necessarily have to experience all of them. Technically, if you do, the game will play better and you'll have a better overall experience. But it's just not for everyone, right? Like not everyone is going to be able to play Crucible regularly, play end game PvE, read the lore, play Gambit, and then maybe even play this new extraction shooter that they add. Like just people aren't going to be able to do that, right? Like it's too much for some. But even if it is too much, it still is an excellent tool to getting new players into the game. I think that an extraction game mode in Destiny would have worked out fine and could have been a fun addition to the Crucible, or even its own game mode in and of itself. Like it could have been the fourth node, right? Like you have Crucible node, you have Vanguard node strikes, and then you have Gambit node, and then the fourth node, right? It could be one of those ritual plays. You don't have to play it again. You don't lock some crazy overpowered weapon in this thing, right? It's too hardcore. Just make it a fun experience that people can go into if they want to risk a lot and maybe win some interesting cosmetics by chance. I think that would have been a cool way of doing it.
Even worse on the hardcore player end, with Tarkov players scoffing at how easy Bungie has made Marathon. Everything from gear looting to time to kill to double revives in combat. I've seen almost no established extraction shooter players that are eager to jump over to Marathon for anything but a trial run based on what they've seen and played. So I still fundamentally believe that the way this was presented initially, where it was very clearly, we were kind of getting a glimpse at Art Raiders at that point. It wasn't, the game kind of got more significantly casual over time. But extraction is a genre that is always going to have at least somewhat of a limited appeal. And it was already the case at this point that a lot of this was designed around, a more niche group where just, the concept, the difficulty and stuff was made for an extraction recruiter crowd on, I guess the higher end of intensity. But then you go even past that and like the hardest core extraction players are sort of like, this is easy comparatively, and then they list all the things about Tarkov that are hardcore and all the things that are easy about Marathon. But I think the group that believes that is either at the top end of Marathon, or they're just not playing, or they played it and didn't like it and bounced off. So we did have this push and pull between casual and hardcore, and I think now we are very much leaning toward the casual, because they need players. And, we are currently seeing kind of the floor of players, I think, or at least close to it. And all Bungie has really done for the most part, they've done some top end balancing and stuff and Cry or whatever, but their major things are adding things that they believe will appeal to more casual players. They, it's a wide range of stuff. I'd say even the Cradle initially was, because you could upgrade things like key capacity pretty much instantly, and things that were barriers there. They introduced a lot of sponsored kit modes where you don't need a vault, you don't need to bring anything into a game, and if you lose it, who cares? That was followed by Night March, where the initial launch of that was essentially, what's it called? Survival was essentially PvE. It was meant to be this mode with a bunch of rooks and then one real team, but in reality that really kind of became a PvE thing mostly. And then we have arrived at actual PvE with a cryo mode that Vault Breaker that just turns the entire map into PvE. It's still difficult given some of the puzzles and certainly given the timer, but it is a branch into PvE that was never supposed to happen this early. But ahead of launch, they were asked about PvE, and they kind of just poo-pooed it away, and they're like, well, we're focused on, PvP definitely over the coming year, and it didn't even seem like it was really in the cards.
They had so many bad things that they said leading up to the launch of Marathon. Remember when they said they refused to do proximity chat and everyone was screaming at them? The alpha's initial appearance looked so terrible. It literally looked like Escape from Roblox. The game's graphic fidelity just looked cheap and shitty. It looked nothing like something you would expect from Bungie, right? They refused to do solos. They said that the game played better in trios, which admittedly the game does play better with a team. I will admit that. I've played this game 150 hours, and the solo experience is brutal. But, you don't always have friends, and you don't necessarily want to go in with random teammates because they can kind of throw and make it more frustrating. And if you go in with random teammates, there's a chance that you match against stacked teams, and that's even more obnoxious. So I like the idea of the game having solos, but the game kind of needs to be catered around that to some degree to make it more enjoyable. All of these things were brewing and leading into the launch of Marathon, and then they switched some things and didn't switch other things. So much changed in such a short period of time. It's crazy what Bungie's original vision was, and I wonder what the game would have been like if they launched. Imagine if they launched the game with that alpha gameplay. Alpha gameplay, no prox chat, no soul. Now they have AI moderation, literally banning people or giving people warnings and stuff for playing solos. The AI moderation, we covered this in a previous video. The AI moderation tools that Bungie is using is flagging people's accounts when they're playing by themselves and giving them warnings for using profanity. Like you're screaming at the UASC and you're getting in trouble. The warnings for the moderation, voice chat moderation, should be if you're harassing other people. If you're playing by yourself, it's ridiculous that you would get a warning. So it's kind of an insane time right now. And watching it all unfold has been actual cinema.
Now they are doing a PvE mode in Season 3. So I think some of the existing players are starting to feel perhaps a bit neglected, and these new things that launch, they might play them a little bit, but those people want to go back into the regular game, and the regular game is now increasingly full of like really, really high skill players because either casual players have left or casual players are playing the PvE-ish modes. All right, gameplay. What we've seen and played is the next point. Neither are good. Either you've seen an outside observer watching gameplay players and Twitch streams, or you've gotten into the closed alpha and played for yourself. The game feels uninspired. The shooting in Marathon is fine, but the experience doesn't compare to other titles from Bungie, which has produced some of the best feeling shooters of all time. It feels like a slower version of Apex Legends with maybe one team fight per round and in between battling UESC bots, which I do think can be fun in some instances. Okay, so between this and then launch, I would say they did a lot of polishing on the actual shooting. I would say it has gone from fine to good to really good, but I would still stick with my declaration that I don't think the gameplay in this compares to how Destiny felt to play, how Halo felt to play, and like maybe that's an extraction thing because you just can't have the same level of stuff, but over time and people getting upgrades and stuff, it does get more and more mobile. But it depends how you're able to assemble a really good kit, get really deep into the cradle and get these things. And then it feels more like a traditional Bungie shooter, but then paired with the extraction mode, it's, there's not too many other shooters where you die once and the entire round is over. So it for its genre, I think it does feel good, from what I've played, from what a lot of existing extraction players played. I think that's something that Bungie still does well, but I don't think it's on the level of its past games, even if we are accounting for genre. It feels like a slower version of Apex Legends, maybe one team fight per round. Okay, the team fight thing definitely changed. They definitely did a lot of things to kind of herd people together more to the point where people think it's too much PvP. But I think that makes it even more like Apex Legends. And sort of a common complaint now is that the game can feel like a battle royale with like loot as sort of an afterthought, where the way to beat a round is to find all the other teams and kill them and take their loot, and they will have the best loot depending on the map, and then extract there. I also feel like the one team fight per round thing was because we were playing on like perimeter, and I think Anmarsh was in that. I can't remember. Was it just perimeter during that alpha? That was a lot more big, a lot more sprawling. People didn't know the spawn points yet, so I do think that really reduced team fights as well. All right. The idea that an extraction shooter should use a hero model has not landed well at all. It seems woefully unbalanced with full invisibility and wall hacks and things that should just not be in the genre. It destroys the idea of making a fully custom character like other games, something most players like. It feels like a solution where a problem did not exist, an experiment to make the game stand out, but it's just made it worse. I would place the hero stuff actually kind of low on the list of like marathon problems. That has been something that I don't think people complain about now nearly as much as they did when it was first announced, or it's not necessarily one of the reasons people are leaving or not liking the game. I do think,
Yeah, initially the hero thing got a ton of criticism. I will say that the diversity in the heroes in the game feels pretty cool in that each character does feel drastically different from another. It's not like they're the same, but just slight variations. Like they actually do have their own unique identity. And out of curiosity, what are people expecting? What are people expecting from a game like Marathon when they're criticizing the hero model? What would the alternative be to that? So instead, they would want a fully customizable player character, a class/build system. Instead of playing Vandal and Vandal has these abilities, it would be I'm playing my character and I've built him/her with these implants, equipment, abilities, and armor. So it would just be like one character that can tap into any ability. Interesting. I don't know that that's necessarily better. I know that people generally like more agency and customizability, and it can be a bit annoying when there's like one hero model that's like too powerful, and then everyone kind of just uses that, and it's just a bunch of them running around. You know, maybe we saw that a little bit in Destiny. Does Destiny technically have a hero model with Titan Hunter and Warlock? So it's not a hero shooter, it's more of a class-based character shooter. Gotcha.
There is a lot of complaining about certain things, whether it's like, you know, invisible camping in solos, or, you know, everyone needing wall hacks. It, you know, depends on the map, depends on what you're doing, but they are trying to balance things. But I still think probably it's an overall negative here, and people would have just kind of preferred custom characters, though I don't think this was quite as big of a deal as it was originally meant to be, or made out to be. And even if it was pretty different for the genre, could have gone worse, I think. And, you know, they're still adding more and more heroes in time, but I don't know. This wasn't like the end of the world. It turned out in the end here. And then, okay, none of this was helped. The exact same time Marathon's alpha was interrupted by Arc Raiders alpha, a much more traditional extraction shooter, and a much better one by all accounts. It has more polish, more fun, more expected features found in extraction shooters. All you have to look at the fact that Arc Raiders player count went up every single day of its alpha, where Marathon's almost always went down. By the end, it was sub 20% of what it started with. Twitch viewers were even worse, going from 150,000 at launch when big streamers tried it, crashing to 1,000 to 3,000 a few days later near the end, where big chunks of that might even be one or two Destiny streamers alone. That is still how it is now. Like, you can see like Defizzle.
No, it's way worse. It's like, dude, I'll pull this up right now. Marathon, at the time we're recording this video during peak hours, has its top streamer. We got Walla online, Destiny 2 streamer. We got Drewski's, Destiny 2 streamer. And yeah. 900 viewers on this fresh game, or I guess, you know, game that's a few months old. Crazy.
Carrying the entire Marathon directory, but like that is, I guess, more logical than this being like the first look at Marathon. Player loss has been a consistent theme here, where, you know, this is a live game, they want engagement, and it just falls off a cliff after kind of like every new update, every season launch, like way too quickly, and you are down to a fraction of your population very fast. That results in longer wait times, kind of, it can be worse matches.
And this comes back down, like talking to business principles, where Arc Raiders, there's only two different businesses in the world. There's a business that takes an existing product and improves it, and then there's a business that starts a new product that solves a problem that has yet to be solved. Marathon was trying to do the latter. Unfortunately, it failed. Arc Raiders basically improved upon Tarkov in a lot of ways. I mean, now that it's kind of aged, it's maybe not doing as well. In fact, how is Arc Raiders doing these days? We were looking at the charts for this thing, and I genuinely believe that Arc Raiders, even though it has plenty more players than Marathon, I think that this chart is maybe more alarming and scary than Marathon's in a lot of ways, because this is a true trajectory of death right here. This is like going down to such low numbers. Yeah, 30,000 people regularly hitting sub 30Ks is crazy. Obviously, the weekend just happened, so you got those peaks during the weekend, but man, it's crazy the fall off. But at least it has like somewhat of a core audience. This is sustainable for the size of the studio. that has it. Like, if they can just keep 30,000 for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, this game will be up and running. It will get updates. It will be profitable. Like, this is perfectly fine for the future. Recently, there was another game that came out, or that was about to come out, and they were talking about how much Steam chart numbers they needed, and they said that they've accustomed their Steam charts or their predictions to, like, we only need like 5,000 people online. That's what they said. How many devs work on the video game War Dogs? So there's no exact number of devs working on this game War Dogs, but they literally said that they only need like 5K on Steam. And so they said publicly, and this was awesome. These guys have great communication. They said, if you see streamers roasting our Steam charts, just know that we don't give a shit, because we're expecting the game to have like a pretty small, like, niche audience at worst, and that's okay. So they're awesome in that, and like, they're actually giving a realistic perspective. So if they can sustain themselves with 5K, then I imagine a studio of this size will be fine with 30,000. But Bungie cannot. You know, Bungie can't be running around with 3,000 people online. That is a problem.
And things like that. And it's just, you know, the launch itself, we saw that Arc Raiders, you know, it was a huge launch, huge, like the player count way went past the alpha player count, which is, that doesn't usually happen for, you know, especially a paid game, and it maintained that for a very long time. Where Marathon was lower, which is not, you know, that unexpected, but then it went down very quickly. And, you know, since launch, we're at a, you know, 5% or whatever it's going to be, past that initial number that did not even get to 100,000 concurrents. We know that Marathon is at least 2-to-1 console to, or 2-to-1 Steam to console. So, you know, this isn't hiding some giant breadth of console players. So this pretty much translated to what the end result of the launch was. All right, future plans, price. It's not just how the game currently plays and feels, it's what it's apparently planning for the future. This was half the problem with the recent live stream, where sure, the vibes are bad and the recent plagiarism from the start, but hearing game director Joe Ziegler and others talk about it, the constant refrain was, we're looking at that, we're thinking about that. The bulk of the talk was about minor balance changes, shield health, backpack spawn, stack size, faction differentiation. Asked to name the biggest issue they found coming the alpha, Ziegler rattled off a list of impossibly small issues. Hugely requested things like proximity chat and solos were hand waved away and relegated to some impossible future plan. It is absolutely insane that Bungie has not taken to heart the feedback, how this game feels to play solo. It feels like the only way to play Marathon is stacked with friends on comms, is playing with randoms, is at best a coin flip whether it's awful or fine. Going in solo and skulking around like a rat, avoiding all combat is boring. Okay, well, I'll pause for a minute. So, like, you probably remember that stream, right? And, like, it was depressing for a lot of reasons, but this is what they did. Like, this is what Ziegler did in the stream. And what eventually happened, as we know, was after a delay, they put in proximity chat and solos, among some other things. I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, I didn't think proximity chat was going to be a needle mover, even if it is something you should.
Like, even in this game right now, people rarely seem to use the proximity chat. Something about the way they've structured it, it just doesn't have the same consistency as like you see in other games like Arc Raiders. And it's kind of important when it comes to optics and content, which I know most people watching this could care less about content on a video game, but I would say that I've seen a ton of viral clips from Arc Raiders and other games that have proximity chat that kind of speak to the spirit of fun, and, you know, they work as advertisements for the game. You know, if you see a clip pop up again and again and again of people having fun in prox chat in a game, you might be more inclined to try the game. But in a game like Marathon, where there was no initial proximity chat, and then even when you play the game, it seems like basically no one's using it. And then if you do use it, you're getting like policed by AI tools that are sending you warnings for saying heck in the damn chat when you're playing by yourself. It's like, you kind of just, you technically you implemented proximity chat, but you did it probably the worst way possible. The real goal of this is to create moments and things that can be viral because that sells your game. You know, in this day and age, even if you don't care for videos and social media, a game's optics on social media are extremely important. It sells the game more than anything. If you see 10 clips of people having fun playing a game, you're much more likely to play that game than if you say nothing, right? Like you wouldn't even know about the game maybe. Or if you see 10 negative clips of people raging or talking smack about the game, it's probably going to make it even, you're probably going to be even less interested in ever playing that game.
Probably obviously have for a game like this. And I think it's good that solos exist. Then we had duos. But I do think the fundamental point of like, you know, winning marathon is being stacked with a friend on comms, and there are so many issues with playing with randoms. You know, is the higher and higher you go. It's not like it's impossible to have a bad experience, but it more than most games. Like this isn't even like a trials team with 2 randoms. Like it is a lot more complicated than that. And if you lose based on your team sucking or not, you know, doing the objectives or whatever, that you lose all your stuff, even if you did everything right, or you fuck up your game for your team. So I think that is still an element, even if this stuff was added. So add on that, because the game ignores solos, it means you need to convince 2 friends to buy it, likely at an upcoming $40 price point. It is too late in
Speaking of which, I bought the game for myself and 2 friends, so I would have a team. We had fun playing for a little bit too, believe it or not, just because we're PvP tryhards that we're sweating it out there.
Development to switch to free-to-play, not that the genre is built for that anyway, but painfully few people have played this game and thought it was worth the price. Without a delay at launch, it will have 2 more heroes, some new weapons and gear, and 1 to 2 more maps, and that's it. It's a tiny amount of content for that price, on top of a game that as of yet is not very fun for most players. Yeah, since, you know, it launched and things aren't great, people have talked about a switch to free-to-play, but I in no way think that that is something that makes sense, because we have done these free tests and they have not shown that they would result in some huge sustained burst of players.
So if you do a test of free to play and it still doesn't increase your population, that really just shows you the game is just cooked. It's just dead. Like I genuinely think that's the worst possible outcome for a game. You know, like if I offered you a product, no matter what it was, lemonade, and I was like, it's free, and you're like, hell no, I ain't drinking that. Like, must be doing something really wrong when your multi-million-dollar product is free and still no one wants to play it. So even though the free-to-play tests that Bungie has implemented weren't successful, that speaks volumes to Marathon's failure, not that to the failure of free-to-play, if that makes sense. So I think that the key here is the diagnosis, which is free-to-play is an excellent option for a really good game. You know, Destiny 2 is a really good game, and its free-to-play is, you know, more or less free to try, let's be real, but its free-to-play nature is excellent for ushering in new people and getting your friends to try the game. And I don't know what the exact retention rate is since the game has gone free to play, but I can imagine that it's been mostly a net positive for the game because it got a lot more people to at least try it. You know, you didn't have to commit to anything. You could download this game for free and play. And if your friends rave about it so much, then presumably you would get into it and spend some money, buy a season pass, buy an expansion or whatever. You know, that's the way that Destiny 2 went, and they did that since like what, 2019. So it went on pretty good for like 7 years until eventually, you know, Destiny 2 is now dead. But I still think that's the right move, even if the IP is the wrong IP, maybe. Like that's where it is with Marathon. So I think free to play is the right choice for Marathon, but just Marathon, there's nothing you're going to do that's going to get people to play this game, it would seem.
You know, you can use Discord and stuff to find groups now, but like, I mean, you know, are people convincing their friends to buy Marathon for $40? How many people did that this whole time and had that work out for the long term? Like, I'm genuinely curious about that. Plagiarism.
Oh God.
Now we arrive at this is like right after this happened. Now we arrive at the massive controversy of art theft, the revelation that is supposed ex-Bungie artists outright stole a large amount of art from Anti-Real, an artist with a portfolio extremely similar to Marathon vibes, and we're not talking about inspired by. These pieces are pieces of art are one-to-one rips to the point where Bungie has to audit its entire game to see how many of these there might be. During the live stream, they couldn't even show the game because it was being torn apart internally for this process. Within a matter of hours, this spread virally. including issued a statement saying it was a former Bungie artist who included the details in a texture sheet.
Who is this fabled former Bungie artist? Notice how they never were found. And I'm not saying we should, obviously, that might be harassment. I'm not trying to harass them. But I think it's fascinating that in a day and age where we know everyone that does everything, that this person is completely anonymous out there in the world. So you're telling me that someone literally took, I'm assuming intentionally, but I guess it could be just negligence, but they literally took an artist's work from their website and Control-C, Control-V'd it into a portfolio and submitted it in Marathon's project, and it got the green light and put in the game. That's kind of crazy. I think that it would be interesting to see who they are, because I think a lot of people would have a lot to say. I know that that would lead to a ton of harassment for them, and I'm sure that there's some lengthy NDAs and all that jargon and stuff that has to be thrown out there. But it would be fascinating to see who this was and how this happened. Was it intentional? Was it malicious? What was the deal here? Because it's an insane thing that there's just this random person that did this. And it's just attributed to just one unknown individual.
That ultimately went into the game. The issue is supposedly unknown by the existing art team, but obviously many, many questions have been raised about all this as Bungie continues to investigate. The narrative spread as players realize that a number of Bungie artists, including art director Joseph Cross, followed Anti-Real for years. It is likely true that Marathon's overall style came from any number of sources from decades or years past, though this fact, with directly lifting from Anti-Real, exploded into theorizing this was a larger problem on my end too for a time. But even if the soul of Marathon wasn't taken from one artist, art director Joe Cross and members of his team allowed this massive portfolio of plagiarism to make it through being stolen allegedly 5 years ago to being plastered all over the current build of the game. So
this is a big problem, and this is something we talked about before, which is that wasn't just that they took the assets one-to-one, it's that the entire vibe of the game matched Anti-Real's. Now, Anti-Real is not the inventor of this art style, but it definitely was. The optics looked like they not only stole the literal art one-to-one, but they stole the entire style, because Anti-Real's original post, whether accurate or not, or whatever you want to say, you know, they said that multiple studios and multiple corporate suits have done this to them before, and it happened twice before that they took their designs without attribution. And so the idea was that, you know, these big name companies keep getting away with this, and this time, of course, it caught up with them. And what they did, obviously, they paid them a bunch of money and then gave them credit in the game, which I think is the best case scenario, which is why I think that this issue is, as far as I'm concerned, over and done with. I don't hold it against them anymore. It was pretty bad, and I still squint a little bit when I think about how the quote-unquote inspiration came about for this art style, but you know, it is what it is. We're past that.
The update there, they did not find more instances of plagiarism. The original story seems to be correct. There does not seem to be some grand conspiracy that like Joe Cross was following this person, or, you know, the narrative that the whole art style was stolen. I think I made one tweet about that, which I regret because that is stupid, but, you know, even contained to this one issue, it was a big deal. And additionally, because this has happened with Bungie a number of times, this is like the 5th or 6th time this has happened with Bungie, you know, most of those being with Destiny, whether it's a lot of like taking fan art and using it promotional materials, stuff like that. So this happening right after the other stuff was just, so I said, this is slit the throat of Marathon, very graphic. The one thing Marathon had going for it was its unique art style and cool vibes, and now it will be impossible to bring that up without the plagiarism being referenced. Memes were instantly born during the apology portion of the line stream, including plagiarism will make me God and a renaming of Marathon to Art Raiders. That's going to stick forever. Okay, the Art Raiders didn't stick forever, even though it's very clever. Very clever. Plagiarism will make me God. You hear more. You know, I don't think that comes up as much as it used to.
I don't think that it comes up as much because there's just complete apathy for the game. I think most people are just like, haha, Steam chart's doing bad, and then move on with their day. Is about the complete total sum of Marathon's discourse in any 24-hour period.
It does come up when we're, you know, the haters show up and start listing all these things. So it's definitely still something that people have not forgotten, especially if you bring up the art style and stuff. I think that it still, is something to consider, but it did sort of fade in time. All right, so there was no escaping this. Not that the vibes were good before, but they are dismal now, with Marathon a laughingstock after this happened, or even worse, outright anger that this was allowed to take place in-game and players refusing to play or support the game as a result. Yeah, I mean, this is right after it happened. It was so bad. Like, do you remember how bad it was?
Jeez.
Like, right after this happened?
This was a catastrophe unlike anything we've ever seen in gaming, and it was crazy.
Oh man, that was everywhere. Not just like in the community. It was like a widespread video game story. A delay. Marathon will not fundamentally change enough to be attractive to most players. Community sentiment will not change enough to turn things around on that end. A delay does not significantly change any of this, but it may be the only option. It would be impressively stupid to actually release this game in 4 months, given both these recent events and that we're only seeing a small amount of new content and some balance and visual polishing for launch. But you simply cannot cancel the game at this point after over 5 years of work, even if it should have died ages ago. Sony would never allow that. Like, people were saying that, like, after this happened, like, the game should be canceled. Like, that was not.
I know I was saying this as well, and I think that we could agree that had they canceled the game at that stage in time, you could have foregone all of the money that's being burned to the ground every month from this game, right? Like, you could have basically, since you could see what the outcome would be because of all the controversies, you might as well cut your losses early and focus on a Destiny project, or even just, restructuring everything and starting a whole new Destiny studio, something like that. I think that's best case scenario for Sony. I think strategically that would be the best move, but clearly launching Marathon and paying for all that promotional advertising that we saw all over TikTok that caused countless controversies when people were saying, from the makers of Halo and Destiny, and, talking about Theseus's ship and all of that. Quite the adventure we've been on in terms of the discourse of this game. But I do think that it would have been better to just call it quits at this stage in time. And even though they were 5 years deep in however many hundreds of millions of dollars, clearly it wasn't worth it. It was a risky bet, and it clearly has not paid off, even still.
In the realm of possibility. Delay is the only real option, but I don't think it changes enough to be useful. It will create distance from the current awfulness, but I have seen nothing to indicate this is going to be some transformative rebirth. The core concept of a hero shooter extraction game will not change. It will not erase the plagiarism that happened. So we know what happened there. This was supposed to come out in September, and they delayed it to, what was it, February, I think? So it had a pretty...
delayed it to March.
Decent delay. They did add things like proc chat and solos, and did they launch with one more hero or map than they were supposed to? I don't remember. But I think this has panned out that it really did nothing to significantly change anything, or how the game launched, or how it was going to be successful or not successful. I think it was necessary, and it would have been crazy to release it that early, and it would have been even worse. But even with the delay, I don't think that did much to change it. Now it's fundamentally changing with all this investment in PvE and stuff like that, but that was not something that hit for launch, nor was it expected, because it wasn't some year-long delay to do that. Unavoidable failure. I've previously said that Marathon will not be Concord 2.0. While I still technically believe that, it's more a matter of just how badly this will fail, not whether it will fail at all. I do not expect it to get 700 concurrent players on Steam like Concord, nor be scrapped in 2 weeks by Sony, but it will not do well. That is set in stone right now, barring some sort of miracle airdrop of players and goodwill from the heavens. This will hurt Bungie and its actual healthy child, Destiny.
Oof.
There will be layoffs.
Its actual healthy child, Destiny. That hurts to read that before Destiny had died.
Will be a Sony takeover of leadership as they bail out with millions vested in cash. The only thing I don't believe will happen is the complete dissolution of Bungie, as that would be a bridge too far in terms of Sony being embarrassed. The story brand has collapsed under its tenure when they paid $3.6 billion for it. It would also be a horrible look to immediately kill another game like they did.
This is all aging like milk right now.
With Concord, and Marathon will be given some time to fix and improve things. I don't think any amount of time will be enough. I realize this is an utterly brutal article. It's the longest one I've written in ages, but at this point, there is no doubt the writing is on the wall, and it is disingenuous to ignore that. I will continue to cover the game. If good things happen, I will write about that. If bad things happen, I will write about that. But it's overwhelmingly bad things from here.
Tough.
I mean, I think this panned out almost exactly. Like, it launched, it underperformed expectations, but it was nowhere near these, insane Concord numbers. Now it's down to numbers that are, I don't know, 5-6 times that currently.
It may not have initially launched as bad as Concord, but it in its own way, it's almost worse, right? Where the game has some success, so it kind of gives you this sort of sunken cost fallacy where you're like, oh, we're making a little bit back. We're still in the red, but we're making something. So you keep going forward and you're like, okay, well, how much did we lose this time? Oh, this month we lost 4 million. Oh, okay. How much did we? And it's like, I think that's the current narrative and the current positioning for Bungie and Marathon. So even though it technically isn't an immediate catastrophe like Concord, it feels like in the long run, it's maybe worse in some ways. I mean, I guess it's at least a functional playing game that, got to exist for, I don't know how many months we're at 6 months now, 5 months. God, almost 6. It's tough,
but that's not what it launched with. And it won't do well. It will hurt Bungie and its child Destiny. In no way would I ever have predicted that Destiny would be shut down at this point. Again, you cannot exclusively blame Marathon for this. Marathon did take resources, but it hurt Bungie. It hurt Destiny. Like, it did hurt Destiny, even if it didn't kill it. There will be layoffs. Pretty much half the company was laid off. Take over Sony leadership. Sony is way more involved than they used to be. Leadership bailed with millions.
And there was crazy leadership changes. Like, you had obviously Justin Truman leaving, Poya Torkin's in there, and Justin, or what's his name? Joe Ziegler's gone, right?
Vested. A lot of that just happened in July when a lot of vesting happens. Like, huge figures there are gone. And yeah, sorry if you can hear banging, it's my AC being fixed. But so I just wanted to revisit this. Let me know your thoughts. I think I got it pretty right, which I don't enjoy that, but there were some changes here based on like things that happened, but fundamentally I don't change this position. I don't think there's a way to turn it around, even though I'm interested to see them try. I think they will get a year, maybe a little more than a year to try and figure something out, but I'd worry about the game. I'm completely worried about Bungie, and yeah, we'll see. So anyway, thanks for watching.
All right, there it is. That was Paul Tassie's prediction of Marathon and its impending doom a year ago. Now, predicting that Marathon was going to launch bad was effectively like predicting the sun will come up tomorrow. I mean, like, water is wet. This is an incredible revelation. But how bad would it be? And how long would this game last for? Like, what's its lifespan going to look like? We still don't know. I mean, we don't have its end of service announcement by any means, but we do have population numbers that are so dire that you can't help but feel like they're deeply running in the red, probably just riding their contingency plan. If I had to guess, there's a contract, right? The game is meant to launch, and no matter the outcome, they would get 1 year to navigate and adjust the game. And after a year, if the game was completely flatlining, which it's already there now, and we're 5 months in, then they would just cancel the project. So that's my prediction at this stage in time, that season 5 will be the last season. That will be its end of service season. And I think it will probably get there, I guess. I mean, they're just going to keep pushing it forward regardless. I'm assuming, now if the population gets as low as 3 digits, which we're getting pretty close, we're at 1,200 people at the low points. Maybe it gets the end of service announcement sooner. It's every end is a new beginning announcement, perhaps. But I don't think so. I think that there was a contract that we don't know about that guarantees Marathon gets a year of development to try to offset the potential disastrous launch, right? And the reason why they would have signed a contract like this for Sony and for Bungie is because Destiny 2 launched poorly, but they clearly fixed that, you know? That was incredible. Destiny 1 launched really successful, but it also had its dry periods, right? So the idea is that Bungie kind of has these highs and lows, like they do well and then they do bad. So the goal would have been to, you know, if Marathon launches well, great. It'll then obviously if it launched well, then there would be no problem, right? But if it launched bad, they'll give them some time to fix it because they have fixed games that were in, you know, dire straits before, as we saw with Destiny 2. But I don't think Marathon's going to get its forsaken moment. So I think Season 5 will be a wrap, but from here until then, it's going to be quite the adventure. We'll see what happens. Someone said poor Mylan in the chat. God damn it. Mylan always brought up in the Marathon conversation. You guys are hilarious. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below. Do you think that Paul's article is accurate? And how much longer does Marathon have? What's good, Ant? All right. That's a wrap for me tonight, chat. I got to head out. Thanks again for the follows, the subs, the bits, the donations. Screamkeeper, Mike PTG, Hot Rodsman, thank you for the subs. Still have 3 weeks until the update. Yep. That update should hopefully breathe some new life with Season 3. We'll see. See you later, Ant. Later, Erikai. Later, Vapula. Later, Discarded. I'll see you in that Pokemon Go raid. You guys better be Pokemon Go raiding, dude. We're out there catching Groudons. I'll see you in the raids. No more Destiny 2 raids, so we're playing Pokemon Go raids, dude. Waiting for them, but that's what I'm talking about. Later, Zombie Inside. Have a good night, good evening, good morning, whatever time zone you're in. I'll be back here mañana, and we'll be grinding out, finishing up the solo flawlesses and covering whatever news there is. And I can't wait. I'll see you then. We got a bunch of news stories to cover. We still have this Sony lawsuit that I didn't cover today. We have a bunch of new Project Sunrise updates coming out that I still didn't cover today. Like, there's just so much news, and we're going to catch up on it tomorrow. So I'll see you for tomorrow's live stream. Make sure you're following, make sure you're subscribed, and turn the notifications on.